What? What'd you say about Nazis? And we're live. Welcome everybody to the
Yeah,
countdown.
punch him.
Yeah, yeah, that's what you do. Kick him in the taint. And welcome to the countdown, brought to you by Show About Shows. This is where we do a top 10 of something random. We usually pick it depending on the guest here. I'm the host, JPO Jordan Pearson, joined here by the one, the only, the Reaper, John Mahar.
Hey, JPO, it's good to be here. Glad you reached out. And as you know, I'm sure people can figure out I'm here. We're going to figure out what we're going to talk about. It's going to be
Yes.
a variation on a theme, I'm sure, but we narrowed it down for you. But I'll let JPO tell it.
Top 10 French films of the 60s is what we're going with tonight. You all ready, right, John?
Eyes Without a Face. Let's go. Number one.
There you go. I'll just believe that that's a movie because I don't even have that ready.
I think that's a 60s French horror movie. It might be the 50s, but yeah, it's around there somewhere.
Yes, if you've ever followed John's shenanigans online, you know he likes a good horror film or two. So there was some we had up for grabs here. So we went with the decade, my favorite decade, because it's my introduction really to horror for me is the 90s. So we had the top 10 horror films of the 90s here. So we'll see. I wonder if there's any crossovers or completely unique lists. I'm not sure what I'm going to hear from you, but I'm definitely interested in hearing from you. In the comments, we already got Jacob Barber looking for some Scream 2 action, not Scream 1, but Scream 2 for Barber.
Scream 2 is great. We'll see.
We'll find out.
In the 90s, I was, in 1990, I was 11 years old. So, the 90s were like my formative years. I got to see the majority of these movies come out, though I didn't really appreciate a lot of these movies until I was older. And I think a lot of these movies are movies I watched when I was older. So I'll give everyone the backstory as we go through the list.
Well, let's start off, man. If you have any honorable mentions, I know you have some unique mentions as well. So kick us off.
Just right off the bat, these aren't even on my list. These aren't honorable mentions. These are like dishonorable mentions. Like there are definitely two movies that came out. There's two movies that came out in the 90s that I think every horror fan should watch, just to appreciate like how laughably bad or how laughable they are. And of course, I'm talking about Troll 2, which you should watch. Everybody should watch. And I'm also talking about the non-Michael Keaton Jack Frost. Watch both of those movies. Tell them I sent you. You won't be sorry. They're not good, but you will not be sorry.
I mean, first of all, I have never seen Troll 2. I've never done that one, but I've definitely seen Jack Frost, so I'm with you on that.
Jack Frost is a freaking banger, man. Jack Frost is fantastic.
Yeah, it's interesting. Early Shannon Elizabeth is the only named actress in that, right? So yeah. Check out Jack Frost. There's this. Did you see the sequel? I can't remember if
I've seen the sequel. Like, it has a gigantic title. It's like Jack Frost 2. Revenge of the Abominable Mutant Killer Snowman. It's set on a tropical island, and it's almost as fantastic as the first one, but a lot of the novelty wears off. But watch them both. Have a movie night. Jack Frost 2. Tell them John sent you. You won't be sorry.
And then if you need a palate cleanser, end with the Keen one.
Yeah.
What are the honorable mentions though? And then you're number 10.
Are we just listing all the honorable mentions together, or just?
Just rapid fire the honorable mentions, and then you
go more. So these are the 5. These are the ones that just missed the cut for me. I had one of my first honorable mention is Ringu, the original Ringu that spawned the Ring in the United States. Then I had Halloween H2O 20 years later is my second honorable mention. Third one is a movie from Malcolm Lay. It's a New Zealand horror movie called The Ugly. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Then the original Candyman. And the Blair Witch Project is like my number 11. So those are my honorable mentions.
Very nice. What you got to kick things off here at number 10?
No honorable mentions from you?
Oh, well, I'll do mine. Yeah, actually, no. You know what? What? Fine. Reformat my show, John. I'll do mine now as well.
I thought we were having a fair trade. Go ahead. What do you
no, actually, I do agree with you on Halloween H2O. That's right outside of my list. So that's on there. Deep Blue Sea I have on there. Sharkadam, an F and Sharkadam. Tremors, a lot of fun. Cube. Ever seen Cube?
Cube, actually. Cube. When I listed all the movies, I had Cube in my first list. Cube didn't even make the cut for the top 15, but it was definitely on the page.
Yeah, so that's the Marvels, and the Faculty, I think, is a fun one too. From
Faculty was also on my page, so it's definitely in my top 30 somewhere. My number 10 though is I'm a big Stephen King guy, and I think probably the best Stephen King adaptation that came out in the 90s was Misery. So my number 10 is Misery. I think Kathy Bates kills it in this movie. James Caan's also great, but I really don't think you can come over the top of Kathy Bates' Annie. Is probably one of the most iconic real human horror villains that you're going to see in the 90s. There he is, Paul Sheldon. Have you seen Misery, JPO?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, actually, I've seen it, and I actually did do a recent rewatch, kind of for con, in a way here, and yeah, it's still good, man. Kathy Bates, this is her. I want to say it's her breakout. No.
Definitely. I think this is definitely the movie. I mean, she's definitely had great performances since, but I think this is the one that really put her on the map. This is 1990, I believe, when it came out.
Yeah, this is right on the cusp. In fact,
Yeah.
I'll show when I show my list later. It's actually, I believe this is number 16. This is almost an honorable. I really dig it too, though. Yeah, she's great in it. She's so good. And I think she definitely steals the show here, and it's a good one.
And if you like to read, it's a decent book too. You should read the book if you enjoy reading.
It's not as long as it, is it?
It's much shorter than it. I'd say it's probably like a third, maybe a quarter to a third as long as it.
I have the book a chance then. All right, is that all you got for number 10?
That's all I got for that. Unless you want to talk more about it, that's all I got. I want to hear what your number 10 is.
No, I got you. All right, my number 10 coming in. Going to a vampire flick, actually. Here, we're going to go from dusk till dawn. Speaking of Rodriguez a little bit here. And, of course, Tarantino, credited, I believe, as a co-screenwriter, as well as one of his more creepier performances here. This was a big surprise. As a kid, this is one of those early ones. I remember my brother, sneaking me into his room and, all right, we're going to watch this flick. Don't tell mom and dad. And it starts out it's very creepy at first, too, because, Clooney and Tarantino are very bad guys who are taking hostage of this family here. Juliette Lewis, Harvey Keitel, the other boy, and things start to go awry when they arrive at, what is it, the Titty Twister?
At the Titty Twister, yeah. So many great characters in this movie. First of all, let's just right off the top. Selma Hayek, hot as hell. Probably one of the
and one of the reasons she's my number one crush still to this day is my God.
One of the hottest women in the 90s in this movie. Also, Tom Savini as Sex Machine. I don't think it gets better than Tom Savini as Sex Machine. He's fantastic all of a sudden killing it as an actor. There's really good character performances in this movie. I would agree with you. This was on my page. It just didn't make my top 15.
Yeah, him and I forget the one footballer. Is it a footballer that's in this? The other guy?
I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he definitely is a footballer.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun people you meet in the bar here and whatnot. And of course, you have quick other glances of Danny Trejo and whatnot. And this is just it's a fun flick. They recently did the kind of retread of it on cable TV series rather. Yeah, Michael Park's great in the intro scene here as well. So yeah,
and Cheech Marin's in there too. And the after credits scene with Cheech Marin is funny as hell. Yeah, definitely from this on. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
What you got going on? Number 9.
Number 9, I'm actually shocked this fell so far to my list for me. When I was doing it, I was just crunching the numbers. Army of Darkness, actually, number 9 for me. And I'm a huge Evil Dead fan, huge Bruce Campbell fan, huge Sam Raimi fan. And Army of Darkness probably is the movie where even if you watch the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, for 20 minutes in that movie, it becomes Army of Darkness. When Benedict Cumberbatch is reanimating his undead self. I'm is this Army of Darkness? Because that's how stylistically, Raimi's style is so unique. So Army of Darkness, it's got everything. I wouldn't say it's particularly scary, but it is very funny. Bruce Campbell just totally over the top the entire time. Watch Army of Darkness if you haven't. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, this was actually. Yeah, how dare you? Or actually, well, if this was a year older, I would have taken offense to that because I had not seen it actually. It's a relatively recent watch for me. Like you said, this was one that I think I showed you a big list of things that were at least possibilities. It was on there. I almost didn't put it yet because I think it almost is way more funnier than scary on the first Evil Dead here. But it is a great flick here. Yeah, definitely one to check out. Another reason if you don't love Bruce Campbell, if you're not on the Bruce Campbell train, it's because you haven't seen this probably.
Oh yeah.
What
do you got number 9?
My number 9 here. It's probably it's not the best film, but again, I'm a '90s kid. I liked it. It was not too long after Scream came out. I love it. It's I Know What You Did Last Summer here, man. I mean, come on. A more beautiful cast could you have one? Sarah Michelle Gellar, SMG, her future husband, Freddie Prinze Jr. Hey, Freddie Prinze, listen. If you need a retired pro wrestler, hire John. If you need a commentator, hire me. I know you got a new company coming. You can contact us later. Ryan Phillippe and Jennifer Love Hewitt. I love the intro of them making the pact after they kill him. or did they kill him? And just things ensued. John Galecki, people forget that he's in this as well. Bridget Wilson, so hot.
And
Want to
Hayes.
touch the hiney. And hey, this is a good like cast game where you're like, what horror film features Anne Heche? Like, yeah, I think I've done that before. So and that's like trying to figure out him going after them. I think good young performances by everybody here. So yeah, it's one that's it's just kind of one of my nostalgia picks kind of for me because again, like I said, this is my introduction to horror here is in the 90s. This is one of the first ones along with Scream that I watched and really dug. And did you ever see the third one, John?
I have seen I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. Wow, what a like if you're having a hot garbage night, throw that on because it has nothing to do with the first two films, other than the fact that the guy kind of looks like the fisherman from the first two films. My take on I Know You Did Last Summer, it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. I think Urban Legend and Scream are obviously better than it, so it's kind of like
you pick Urban Legend over this? I like Urban Legend.
Urban Legend has the legend Brad Dourif and the legend Robert Englund in it. So I don't know how you can
they're barely in it though.
Stuttering Brad Dourif, immediately skyrockets it over the top of I Know What You Did This Summer. I Know What You Did This Summer is fine. Like literally no mistakes in this movie. So well made. Everything's tight. It's just the same old thing, and that's kind of like why it doesn't. Yeah. It's fine.
I kind of assume this might not be there for you, but yeah, like I said, this is one that again, it's a little bit of a nostalgia pick for me.
Yeah, I hear you.
What we got number 8?
My number 8 is an odd pick, but it's definitely a movie I come back to a lot. It's Jacob's Ladder. Jacob's Ladder, maybe not your conventional horror film, and more like got a lot of horror elements. It's definitely creepy as hell. I think Tim Robbins is great in this movie. Pull it on up for me. It's about a Vietnam War vet. I don't want to spoil.
I have to type. It takes a second, John.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything about Jacob's Ladder for you, but Jacob's Ladder is a must-watch movie. Just if you can especially if you don't go if you don't know about it, just go into it not knowing anything about it because it's such a fun ride beginning to end. It's creepy as hell. Like I said, Tim Robbins is great. And like the kind of twisty stuff you got, the twists and turns you take it in the end, definitely worth it. Definitely a top 10 movie for me.
No, very cool. I like that pick a lot. I have seen it. I like that pick a lot here, actually. So good. You had Army of Darkness here. Mine kind of bends the genres as well. And it's a movie that could probably, you could say, defeated or beat Deadpool and Logan to the R-rated superhero film Blade. I put in and my number 8 here. Episode I love, even the third one that did almost at all. As Blade, very iconic. Big shoes. Mahershala Ali's gonna have to fill, but I think I do look very much forward to that. As long as
he's gonna be fine.
So yeah, just the world they build in here. Stephen Dorff, Donald Luge. If you haven't seen What We Do in the Shadows, they reference it with Donald Luge, not playing the character but playing himself, and vampires just really liked him because of that. Anyhow, but yeah, I just it's a great film. It's very 90s if you look back on it. Some of the stuff, but yeah, I thought it was a good flick here. Snipes kind of perfect, and that comes into my number 8, Blade.
Yeah, read the behind the scenes stories of Wesley Snipes playing Blade if you want to laugh your ass off. But yeah, it's a really great character. Stephen Dorff's great. Chris Christopherson's great. All the side characters in pretty much all the Blade movies. Some of the Blade movies don't hit as well as the first one, but it's a great world. I am excited for Mahershala Ali. I think that's a good casting when they're bringing it back. I hope they recast the other characters just as well as they do with that. So I'm excited. Yeah, Blade's a good movie.
And 2's pretty good too. 2's Guillermo del Toro. So and the 2's pretty good. 3 is just where there's some good characters, Triple H, but it just falls apart as a lot of other things just don't add up. It's a messy movie. All right, looks like we're into number 7 now.
Number 7, another off-the-wall pick for me. I'm going to shout out Malcolm Lay because I'm sure he's going to be very excited when he hears that I picked this number 7. I picked Brain Dead, Dead Alive, whatever you want to call it, an early Peter Jackson film as my number 7. If you think Army of Darkness is great, Brain Dead is so over the top, or Dead Alive. I don't know. I think it's Dead Alive in America. That's the wrong Brain Dead.
Damn it.
Dead Alive. Look up Dead Alive. Because there's an American movie, Brain Dead. I think they did call it Dead Alive in America because that movie Brain Dead, but it was Brain Dead in New Zealand.
Oh, I got the right one.
Yeah, it is basically a zombie movie, like a zombie infection movie, but the gore is so cartoonish and over the top. I'm not sure really that we've topped this level of like comedic, gory, funny zombie movie yet. Shaun of the Dead comes close, but Brain Dead was the original daddy of like that genre. This movie, if you have not seen it, if you have not heard of it, like you're missing out. Go see Brain Dead / Dead Alive today.
I'm one of them. I've heard of it. Especially I feel like I've heard of it more in the last year, just hanging out with like guys like you and whatnot. But yeah, I have not seen it. It's definitely one of those that I probably hadn't heard of until the last few years, and it's something that looks interesting that I'll have to get around to.
It's funny as hell too. It's great. I mean, and it's not even like oh, you have to be from New Zealand to appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. It's legitimately funny.
That was good. I was stuck on the trailer there for a second here. All right, my number 7 here is there's a bunch of sequels, but we ain't talking about any of the sequels. We're talking about the OG, The Crow from 1994. Great revenge flick here. I don't know. I was again another early one I saw very early on. It was a favorite of my brother, his best friend Richard. This is like his number 1 movie of all time. So it's definitely a big rewatch here. And yeah, good revenge flick. Brendan Lee, I think, definitely owns the screen here. Definitely tragically taking in the shooting of this film. And because you do kind of like wonder. I love what ifs. Just I think he definitely could have been a great leading man and romance and comedy and whatnot, and he kind of has you get to see a little bit of that in here. You know what I mean? He's violent, he's a little funny, he's romantic at times at the beginning, and yeah, it's a great story. It's another one that's been in development of hell as far as a reboot. I've heard Bradley Cooper, I've heard this, I've heard that, and so I think it's a good tale that I think definitely could be revamped here. You know what I mean? Some wacky sequels with David Boreanaz, and the first one I think still decently holds up here. The Crow coming in at number 7.
And if you love The Crow, tune in to AEW every week because you'll just get your daily dose of nostalgia with Sting.
It's Sting.
There he is. Oh, my God. Yeah.
All right, we're almost there. We're at number 6.
My number 6, I think every horror fan at some point like goes down a rabbit hole. And the whole kind of like gory movies for the sake of being gory or shock movies for the sake of being shocked. I think a lot of them owe a lot to my number 6 pick, which is Audition. Audition is a Japanese film that if you're watching it, you may not even realize you're watching a horror film until the film takes a ridiculous left turn and makes you want to puke because it is it's so off the wall gory. Just out of nowhere pretty much. And like this trailer is going to give it all away, but basically the movie starts out like, there's a lonely Japanese businessman and he's hosting auditions for women to be his wife. And he accidentally picks this fucking psychopath. And things go off the rails. It's fantastic. Watch Audition.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I've seen the iconic like one of those, syringe or whatever she has in her hand. Yeah. So I knew what you were talking about. But yeah, I have not seen this one.
They're giving the whole movie away.
Scares me.
They're giving the whole movie away right there. Trust me, they're giving a lot away in this trailer, but you ain't seen nothing. If anything in that trailer excites you, watch Audition. Prepare to maybe vomit. You don't know. You might vomit. Watch Audition.
See, I'm so torn on if that excites me or not. You might vomit.
You might vomit.
Well, my number 6 here. I didn't do it for you, Jacob, but here, let's talk Scream 2. Absolutely. I thought it was a very worthy enough sequel here. I think there's a reason why even I know Jacob's not alone in the fact that he kind of likes Scream 2, maybe even a little bit more than 1 here. Great iconic scene in the theater at the beginning with Jada Pinkett and Omar Epps, and correct, 2 points. And yeah, they pull, of course, spoiler alert, you get the kind of not even midway, I think they kill off Randy, Jamie Kennedy, which of course is a big bummer for anyone that loved him from the first one, which I did.
He comes back.
Yeah, he gets a great VHS cameo in the number 3, and I think supposedly he's a voice in the last one. As well as some photos here. So yeah, I just thought a very, very worthy enough sequel here, continuing the trials and tribulations of Sydney. This is actually why, in a weird way, if the next one doesn't have Sydney, I'm okay with it because maybe I'm thinking about it too realistically. Man, that Sydney girl deserves a break. Like, she's been through a lot of shit.
Yeah, she always just comes back. It's like, hey, people are getting killed. Oh, I'm on my way. Just you could stay home. You'll be safer if you're at home.
This is what I want for the next film. Sydney, it's happening again. Oh, that sucks.
I'm good though. See ya.
Patrick Dempsey just takes the phone from her. No. just stay here. Which I
Right?
did like. They do say I guess they are married still,
Yeah.
and in the last one they mentioned that like he's at home, and I like that because I don't know if they mentioned it in the fourth one, but I know they mentioned it in the fifth one.
They
So
definitely
yeah,
mentioned it in the fifth one. Yeah. The
yeah,
fourth one, they didn't mention it at all. No.
yeah. Like, they just overgloss it in the fifth one, like screw it, let's make them. They're married, they're fine, they got kids,
Yeah.
and so yeah, worthy sequel here. Another Sarah Michelle Gellar appearance. So we are now in the echelon, the top five. What's your number five?
Well, you name a Wes Craven movie, and then I'll name a Wes Craven movie.
Fine.
So I'm gonna go Wes Craven's New Nightmare, number five. As far as like meta horror goes, like New Nightmare like broke down some walls really in the horror genre because it's like, what if Freddy Krueger came out into the real world. And and we had a whole, and like he was terrorizing the real actors because his spirit grows so much that the evil transcends the movie screen, which is like a very interesting concept, and I think definitely one of Craven's best movies, done really well. Like a lot of people would say that maybe New Nightmare is better than the original Nightmare. I can get behind that if you argue it correctly. I think I can definitely get behind that. I think New Nightmare was an interesting concept, and I think it's still an interesting concept, and I think. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. And actually, you don't even need to have seen any of the Nightmare movies to appreciate it, though I think you'll appreciate it more if you watch it in sequence.
No, yeah, you're right. It's a great, unique concept, especially for the time here. Like, I feel like if this came out today, you would like it, but then go, "Oh, that's pretty cool." But like for the time, I thought it was a very, very unique concept here. I revitalized. I think you could say this is the reason we got Scream is based on kind of something like this. You know what I mean? Kind of changing the way you kind of do a typical horror film here. And yeah, it's a great premise. It's a good one here. One that I've actually grown to like even more. I think the first time I watched it, because I was so young, I was looking just for gore, and I got kind of bored. And then later on, I appreciated it so much more.
Yeah, it's definitely like a psychological horror, which is great. Yeah, there's definitely a psychological edge to it. And what's your number five?
My number five here, actually, guess what? I think for the first time, I'm gonna say I gotta talk about something you already talked about. Jacob's Ladder, baby. I love Jacob's Ladder.
Right. There we go.
Yeah, I was trying to play it cool when you were talking about it. But yeah, dude, I love this one here, man. Again, another one that's right on the cusp. It's 1990 exactly here. And yeah, dude, I love the visuals here, the head trippiness of it. Tim Robbins, I think it's great. You can kind of see why he was I kind of miss him because you don't see him do much leading stuff anymore. But like in the 90s, he had a lot of great roles here. Is it Rosie Perez, right?
Yeah, correct. Yep.
And yeah, so just Jason Alexander pops up in this, and yeah, I just think the style of it is so great here, man. It's such a trippy ride. They used all the effects. I love the practical effects too. Stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're really sunk into the world and the mindset of this guy here. Now, for anyone that does look this up later, if you find one with, I think it's Michael Ealy or a recent one, don't watch that. It is a snore fest. The remake, which is so disappointing here, because I think they could definitely do, if a good director had a vision, a remake of this or a reboot. But so far, nothing really touches this. At least the new one comparatively. So yeah, I'd love this one. It's a great little mindfuck.
Yeah, I definitely say if you don't know this movie, go in blind. Just go in blind. No
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I definitely it was a kind of a blind either. Yeah. I don't know if it was a rental or just a DVD. I think it was a Walmart buy. It might have been in the $5 bin, and I was like, oh, yeah, I've heard of this. And I like Tim Robbins.
It's so good. Yeah, you're right, 100%.
All right, we're now into number 4.
Hey, let's talk about Wes Craven again, because this is where I have Scream. I have Scream at number 4. So Scream is the original. Obviously, not the original like fourth wall winking at the audience movie. I think Scream, and actually, unpopular opinion, Scream owes a lot to Friday the 13th Part 6. I'm going to say it out loud. Fight me on the internet.
Which one's Part 6?
Jason Lives. Scream owes a lot to that. I do believe Kevin Williamson then actually do credit Friday the 13th Part 6 as being an influence for Scream, which is great. But I do love Scream because Scream was marketed in such a way. You had a lot of great names attached to it. You had Wes Craven attached to it. You had Kevin Williamson attached to it. You got Drew Barrymore getting killed in the first 5 minutes of the movie. A lot of young stars were attached to this movie. Scream was like a juggernaut. Scream still is a juggernaut because we're still talking about its sequels. Like how many years later? Or 25 years later? And they're making more. So and it's not like this isn't like one of those stale franchises where like, oh, Jesus Christ, where they're going to send Ghostface to space or have him fight Godzilla. Like that shit's not happening yet. Like Scream is still fresh and they're still doing new things and they have new commentary on horror. So I've always seen
we're not even a year away from the next Scream. It's in March.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be great. And like the Scream movies always have something fresh to say, and it all began with this one. So like I respect to Scream, respect to Wes Craven, respect to Kevin Williamson, respect to the Radio Silence guys. Everyone attached to these movies is they're doing God's work. I think.
I thought I was going to overrate Scream, but all right. No, very, very nice. Maybe I'll talk about it. No, Scream's fine, I guess. All right, so coming in at my number 4 here, I see a trailer of a movie, and also some dead people, I guess. The Sixth Sense. I'm going to come in for my number 4 here. This is when we were like, M. Night Shyamalan, we got to watch that guy. Like we got the director, but no, this is a great one here. Joel Osment, I think one of the best kids performances here. People forget even Toni Collette kind of killing it as the mom here. There's some really truly, I love the final sequence where he kind of tells her what's up, and she kind of tries to get what's going on. Good Bruce Willis performance here too. You know what I mean? He's understated, but he's not the recent Bruce Willis kind of not checked out, understated. He's, you know what I mean? He's in it, and he's really good in this as well here. Smart writing, scary stuff here. When you find out about the girl under the bed and how she died, and the dad come up and says great. And number 4 here. I'm not
like Sixth Sense, probably so well written that it ruined M. Night Shyamalan moving forward, because like everyone's always like, oh man, Sixth Sense was great. Let's go watch The Lady in the Water. What the fuck is this? It's like, M. Night Shyamalan, Sixth Sense is great. It unfortunately didn't make my list, but yeah, Sixth Sense, I agree with you. Everything you said. It is a quintessential movie. Definitely M. Night Shyamalan's calling card is The Sixth Sense.
Faux show. Oh, there you get away.
Oh, get out of here, Misha Barton.
Okay, that's right. I forgot. Yeah. All right, let's see. That's OC. Your number 3. See what I did there?
My number 3, really a movie that it gets better every time I watch it. Event Horizon. Event Horizon is scary as hell, man. It's so creepy. Some of the visuals in this movie are freaking off the wall, especially considering when it was made, like the scene when Jack Noseworthy's character gets locked in the airlock and he's bleeding out of his eyes, and then all the visuals. Event Horizon is just balls out crazy. I think it's freaking it's such a really well done, really experimental, scary movie. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure you heard about it at least, but if you haven't seen it, definitely watch Event Horizon. I can't state enough just how freaking nightmarish this movie is.
I don't know why. Even recently, I started it, and then just life happened, and I never got back to it. Because it's your number 3, I almost guarantee I'll probably way bump it up my watch list, because it is something I've been meaning to see, because I've heard good things. It's something I've dug the trailer, I've dug everything I've heard. So I bet you, give me a month or so, I'll definitely have checked it out. I think by then.
I'm gonna test you.
Oh no! All right, July 25th. All right. Pressure. All right. Coming in at my number 3, one of the rare kind of big Oscar winners here on a horror list. You might know what I'm talking about since I said Oscars. Silence of the Lambs, fava beans. You know what I'm saying? He gets it. Of course, Anthony Hopkins, absolutely iconic as Hannibal Lecter here, who, of course, everyone knows has not that much screen time, which at first, when you first hear that, you go, no way, and then you kind of think about it, you're like, all right, I guess so. Jodie Foster in this, of course, it puts the lotion on the skin. Ted Levine?
Ted Levine is correct.
Yeah, I'm just testing I'm just seeing if I just like to hear I'm correct. I know all these names. I like hearing them right. I think
I'll give you a little spoiler if you want to keep this up. This is my number 2. My number 2 is Silence of the Lambs. You switch that right up there. You're right.
Bam.
Anthony Hopkins, Jodie Foster, Ted Levine. Dude, so many great performances in this movie. I quote this movie all the time. I think the line when he kidnaps the senator's daughter is order you about a size 14 is one of the greatest lines in movie history. Fun fact, did you ever hear the story about when Seth Green was doing the Chris Griffin voice? He just decided to do an imitation of Ted Levine. So okay. if you listen to Chris Griffin's voice, it's Seth Green doing an imitation of Ted Levine doing Buffalo Bill. And now you'll never unhear that, because that is Chris Griffin's voice. So Silence of the Lambs, influential even in places you don't even know.
I like it. Anything else about Silence of the Lambs?
I mean, we can keep going about Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs is freaking great. Everybody knows it's great. It won Oscars. Are you going to doubt the Academy? Are you doubting the Academy? No, of course not. What's your number 2, JPO?
I like how part of this is part of the show so far. It's just been you getting mad at the audience. Like, well, you don't like Army of the Darkness? Why haven't you seen it? You gonna doubt the Academy? Who are you fighting? Who are saying these things?
Where do you hear my number 1 that nobody's seen? Where do you hear that? Go ahead.
Oh man, that's crazy. Okay, I'm interested in that. What your number 1 is? Because my number 2 I think are. They're definitely everyone's seen my number 2 and 1. My number 2, it's called Seven. My 7's a 2, and
I've never heard of this.
Oh, you should see it. I think you can probably find it. I don't know if they ever have a DVD release, but there's definitely a VHS release. So eBay.
Sounds good. Oh, Morgan Freeman's in it. Holy shit! All right.
Yeah, this young actor Bradley Pitt.
Oh my goodness.
Iron Man's wife's in it, and then this other dude, John Doe. I can't think of his name. I feel like it's been redacted from Hollywood. But
that guy got in mad trouble. Crazy stuff with kids.
Yeah, and like I don't know. I was about to say he's really good, but I feel so weird saying he's good in things now.
I mean, separate the art from the artist, I guess, in this respect. He does a good job in this movie.
Of course, you got David Fincher. I think really knows how to shoot a film. Knows how to shoot like it's like a really interesting, horror thriller. Years later than Zodiac, which I feel like he definitely borrows a little bit from what stuff you see here in Seven. And just a gripping tale here. I would have loved to have seen. Many more detective things from Fincher here. Very very dark, but so good here. And what's in the box? And what's your number 1?
What is in the box? My number 1 is a movie. When I talk to people, some people have seen it, but honestly, when I think of 90s horror, and I think of what my favorite 90s horror movie is, the movie I've come back to the most, the movie I love the most, it's a movie that not many people have seen. It's Cemetery Man. Cemetery Man is my number 1 movie, or Della Morte, the Italian title. It is a zombie movie with Rupert Everett, and it is it's kind of Lovecraftian, I guess, in some sense. I think it is based on an H.P. Lovecraft story. I'll wait for JPL to pull this trailer up because I want people to see the trailer. No, it's great.
YouTube's like what? No,
it's got horror elements, it's got romantic elements. It's really like a genre bending movie. I guarantee a lot of people haven't seen it. So I'm angry now. I'm angry at all of you watching because I know you haven't seen this movie. Cemetery Man.
He's back to being mad at the crowd.
Look, my family's here. Come on in. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? I'm talking about my favorite movie. I'm talking about Cemetery Man. Liv, you've seen Cemetery Man, right? You love it.
I have not.
Well, Cemetery Man basically is about Rupert Everett plays Della Morte Dellamore. He's a caretaker of a cemetery where the dead people keep coming back to life. So his job every night is he has to come out of his shack and basically shoot them back into their graves. But don't let that not grab you because it has every other element in it as well. Such a well done movie. It's one of those movies where you watch it and it's just a beautiful movie. Aside from being a horror movie, watch Cemetery Man. I can't say enough good things about it.
No, very cool, man. And I'm your number 1. It's definitely something. Again, I'll have to pump up higher on my watch list because I don't think I've even heard of this. This doesn't sound too familiar. No, very cool, very cool. I love it. That's something different. And I'm number 1. You're number 1 because my number 1 is super obvious, especially if you know me at all. Again, just a big champion of the Scream franchise. Again, it is great. I think regardless of your feelings about it or feelings about me, a little bit of nostalgia because it is maybe the first horror movie I saw to a degree. It's the first one that really captured me from the get-go. Already knowing Drew Barrymore a little bit too, it definitely even shocked me as a kid of oh wow, they killed her off in the first 5 minutes here, and the cast you have Matthew Lillard actually chewing up the scenery. We all love them. My parents are gonna be so pissed. Good twist at the end. It's the boyfriend. Oh, it's not the boyfriend. It is the boyfriend. Bad skeet. David Arquette, Courtney Cox here. Even poor Kenny, the camera guy. It's such a fun flick here, man. It definitely holds up. It was something that I definitely didn't see in theaters at the time. It wasn't until the third one. No, it was the fourth one was my first theater experience for Scream. But before the new one came out back in 2021 or 2020, I guess at that point, the first one kind of had a re-release, Fathom maybe, and I saw the big screen for the first time, which is quite cool. With fans here, and there's such a fan base here, man. I still get, I think, an email from a certain autograph subscriber that's like, hey, buy this Scream mask with the cast signed on it. And go to horror convention, you're probably gonna meet somebody from the Scream cast. And and I still don't think, even though there's definitely the third and fourth one aren't definitely, I think the least favorites of mine. There's some ones I would give a positive review though, and still say you'd have a lot of fun with them going into them.
I think they're all good. Obviously, Scream 3 is a little
yeah,
weak, but it's still great. It's still fun. And actually, I'll tell you,
yeah.
my Scream anecdote. Everybody knows, like when I talk about the '90s. Like I worked in the movie theater probably for a lot of the time when I was in high school. And the reason I lost my job at the movie theater is because I took the Scream poster home with me and I refused to return it. So they terminated me over the Scream movie. So Scream's the reason why I got fired from the movie theater. Thank you very much. I'm a horror fan.
Worth it.
Worth it. I was going to college anyway, douchebags.
I'm out. Scream
poster. I'm out. Yeah, right.
Oh, lovely. You did it for Scream. Is there any chance you still have that poster?
Maybe somewhere. I'm sure it looks like shit. Because it was on my wall in college the whole time. So it probably got who knows what hit that poster.
Well, hopefully you have your list in front of you. Can you run me off your top 10 again? Let's hear it one more time.
We're going from 10 to 1. From 10 to 1. I got number 10 was my number 10 was Misery. My number 9 was Army of Darkness. Number 8, Jacob's Ladder. Number 7, the New Zealand Brain Dead or Dead Alive. 6, Audition. Number 5, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Number 4, Scream. Number 3, Event Horizon. Number 2, The Silence of the Lambs. Number 1, Cemetery Man, Delamore.
My top 10 here. Number 10, From Dusk Till Dawn. Number 9, number 9, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Number 8, Blade. 7, The Crow. 6, Scream 2. 5, Jacob's Ladder. 4, The Sixth Sense. 3, Silence of the Lambs. Number 2, 7. And number 1 is Scream.
Yeah.
You're hiding the bodies. It's all good.
Yeah, that's just my daughter dragging a body across the floor. It's fine. That's what we do in this house. It's a haunted house we live in. There's stuff beeping. There's TVs turning on and off. My daughter makes weird noises. It's great. It's a great house to live in.
Henry is very excited that you're on a new horror show. So,
Henry dumped me from our podcast, so I have to find a new home. I have to do it myself, I guess. I don't know.
Because do you hate lists, John?
I hate lists. Henry's like, do your top 250, and he bullies me every day, and I'm like, no, I can't do it. But you only asked me. You only asked
Henry,
me for 10.
He likes me more. Oh, it's because it's short. It's a little short list.
You asked me for 10, and it was 10 from the 90s. So I just looked at all the 90s movies. I just started picking movies I liked. And then I just started knocking them out one by one, and I had 10 left.
That's exactly right. Like I said, the list I sent you was my master list of every possibility, more or less. And then I was like, and then like you said, just boop, boop. Alrighty, man. Very good here. Good top 10 here from John. Again, some of those I got to check out. If you haven't seen them, check them out yourselves. If you haven't seen something from my list, definitely check it out as well here. Any plugs, parting words, people can find you, John?
Well, one of the admins over at There Will Be Trivia. You can find me over there. We're running a horror, not a horror. We were running a horror podcast until recently. Those are archived if you want to watch them. But we're definitely running teams trivia, running singles trivia. Henry has other shows that he kept, he didn't dump. You can watch the shows Henry still does. Henry does movie reviews by himself now. Don't watch those. Punish him for dumping me off the horror podcast. You can also find me at, I'm over at Multiplex. I'm on Untitled. I'm on JPO's channel sometimes. Just look for me, you'll find me. And I love horror. So if you have a horror show and you want me on, I'm a good ad. I'm a great ad.
So, okay, I'm late to the party or I'm very gullible. Did your horror show actually end?
It's on hiatus right now because we weren't getting a ton of views. So we're gonna wait until There Will Be Movies builds up, and then we'll probably come back.
All right. Or do what I do. Ignore the views. Just keep doing everything always and forever.
Yeah, you got to keep going. You got to fake it till you make it, brother.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was John. This was Jordan. That was you. This was me. This is us. Ending this soon on NBC. Thank you. Good night.
All right. Good night.